Okay, cool. So this is ArcheAge, and ArcheAge is a game, it's all about your choice. You get to choose what you want to do in the game. If you want to fly around on a glider all day, you can do that. That's totally cool. You're not going to get a whole lot of XP that way. But you can get XP from crafting, killing, you can kill mobs, or you can kill your fellow players, depending on where you want to go. The first two continents in the game are primarily protected from PvP, but then there's this, and then there's the Sea of Serenity and the land of origin. And those areas are mid to high level zones, and they're all PvP zones. They're completely 100% open world PvP. So if you go on those areas, and you have to go on those areas if you want to build your nation, you can build a castle, and all of the land around the castle becomes your land. Anybody who builds there, you get to tax them, and you get to keep all the money, which is really kind of cool. The challenge is that periodically, your land is going to become attackable, and you're going to have to defend it. You can defend it in two different ways. You can either have a really awesome force, and so you can repel any attackers, or you can defend it with money. There's an item that goes on the auction house, and whoever wins that bid gets the right to attack your castle. If you win that bid, nobody else can attack it, and you're safe. So it all depends on what you want to do. In this area here, we're running around the eastern continent of Harihara. And as you can see, it has a very eastern look and feel. The other continent is the western continent of Nuia, and that actually has a much more medieval kind of look and feel. So you can play whatever region you like better. We are running around here on a Fu Lion mount, which is one of the cooler mounts in the game. There's a few different varieties of it. This one's the white one. And it has some neat little jump animations, as we can have Rich show off, and he's not under a bridge. And the mounts can help you run around the world. They're a lot faster than running around on your own 2 feet. You've also got vehicles that you can use in the game. And then all of the mounts can swim. So they all have their own swim animations, and it's a little bit of fun. In addition to the mounts, we have gliders. And the gliders you saw a little bit earlier flying around. Those are, I call them our flying mounts, and I sort of say mounts in quotes, because they really are like gliders. You take off from a high point, and you slowly are going to descend. There is an ability that you can boost yourself back up again and extend your flight, but you're going to have to end your flight at some point. One of the other neat things about the gliders, this one in particular, it can stealth, and it can shoot arrows out of the front of it. So you can have people coming in, stealthing onto your ship, or over the walls of your castle on these gliders and shooting you. Now, it doesn't do enough damage to kill a whole bunch of people, but it's a bit of a nasty surprise. So it's a lot of, and it's pretty, which really helps. So as you're creating the world, you can build a lot of the houses, the ships, the armor, the stuff goes in the houses. You can raise cows, you can raise goats and sheep and goose, and build your tomato plants and strawberries and pine trees and whatever else you want. You can ride around on a cow. All of the stuff in the game that you put into the world, you can create resources. So all of the trees that you build, all of the animals and plants that you put on the world, you turn them into resources, and you take those resources and they're what's used in the crafting. Now, you're rarely going to actually have a ship being built right in your front yard, so you've got to take those resources somewhere else. And players do that in caravans. Usually a bunch of players will get together, because if you're going on the other continent or onto the land of origin, it's PvP, and you're going to need a little bit of protection. So players band together in guilds and groups for caravans. As you can see, this is the first version. We are still finishing the English translation, so it's not completely done yet. The caravans also can go on the ocean in the form of ships. And if we can, we'll have to run back to one of the ships. But you can go ahead and build your own ships, launch a ship, and take it off. BJ, BJ. Take me back to housing. Okay, so we're going to go back to the ships here now. And you're going to go ahead and see that you can build the ship. Now, each one of the ships takes a lot of resources to build. You can do it on your own if you want, but you've got to build these resource packs that are super heavy and hard to transport. And you can build all of the packs that you need, line them up on the shore, and go and build your ship, ferrying them out one at a time. However, other people can come and steal your resource packs. So you do want to be a little bit careful about doing it that way. Generally, what we're seeing folks do on the Korean servers is they get a guild together, and everybody comes in with their resource pack so they can guard it and protect it, and they all work together to build the boat. You can have an entire guild get together and build a whole fleet of boats. You can't steal it when it's created. So the person who places the schematic for the boat has to be the one that actually launches the boat. But you can give permissions to everyone in your guild to help out. So they can pile resources onto these boats. So in these little portals up here, you're going to see cannons come out when they come out. And you can man the cannons. You can climb up to the crow's nest and use the telescope and the bell up there and check everything out. And of course, you're going to have to defend your ship. Because if your captain abandons the helm, someone else can take it over. And there's absolutely no guarantee that that someone else is going to be on your side. And he can take your ship and happily take it into the middle of an ambush, which is always very fun and exciting. You see, our shipyard is not exactly the best placed. We're working on that. So as the ship launches, the cannons will appear. There we go. And also down at the bottom, as we climb on board through the back here, you'll see some breathing apparatus down here. And that is so that you can actually put that gear on and swim under the water for much longer than you can hold your breath. So one of the interesting tactics that we have seen on the Korean servers is they'll have a small boat, or they'll have a boat with a lot of resources and just a couple of people, and underwater is the rest of the guild, waiting in ambush. It's really kind of cool. It's a lot of fun to see what people are going to do with all this technology that we're giving them. So as you take the boat out, you can sail it out, and you've got to worry about pirates. So pirates are people who have consistently broken the law. They have killed players of their own faction, they have stolen from players of their own faction, and they've gone to jail too many times, and now nobody wants them anymore. So they get sent to Pirate Island. All the NPCs on the primary 2 continents won't talk to them. In fact, they'll try to kill them if they show up too much. So you have to go on Pirate Island, and Pirate Island is a very small island. It has very limited resources. So the best way for pirates to get resources is to take them from everyone else. So I highly recommend having friends when you go out on the open ocean. But it's a lot of fun. And as you can see, we've got a pirate coming over here. One of the things you can do on the pirate ships, it's really a lot of fun, is you can climb up to the top to the crow's nest and leap off on a glider. And that is just amazing, because especially if you get one of the ones that's stealth, nobody sees you coming. It's really kind of cool. And so the whole thing about ArcheAge, and what really makes it different and makes it awesome, is that interplay between the guys who are making the farms and making the resources, the crafters who are building the ships and the siege engines and the castles and the houses, and the people who are defending them. And if all you want to do is build houses, you can totally do that, and you can level to max level doing it. But if you want to fight and be a PvP fan, totally doable too. In fact, we highly encourage it because it's a lot of fun. Glider off. And you can have glider combat too, which is really kind of cool.
Could you do the jump more than one, or I mean, is there like a timer or a cooldown?
On the vertical, it's 30-second timer.
Okay.
So it's generally timed in most cases. For most gliders, you're going to descend more than you can increase over 30 seconds. You don't own them. You have to destroy his boat to get it.
So if you own a boat, can you despawn it, or is it just there once you have it built? I mean,
so you can despawn it. Actually, why don't we run through all of the boats? So there's a number of different boats in the game. We've got, you have to despawn your boat, not his boat.
Well, I can't despawn his.
It'll go away after a while. So one of the challenges on the boats is that if somebody takes over your boat, they have a limited amount of time in order to destroy it, or it's going to despawn. Also, they can't get the resources off of your boat unless they destroy the boat, which is good and bad. It means they're going to try to destroy your boat. There we go.
Is there any is there a banking system where you can deposit your items, or is there a safe in it? Okay. Is it localized, or is it going to be global? Can you have, for example, a safe in your house where it's just you put stuff in your safe, you can only access it from that safe? Or,
to be honest, I'm not 100% certain. I'm not aware of an in-house safe, but that doesn't mean there's not one. So this is one of the catamarans. It's one of the smaller boats. We also have a rowboat that literally is a one-man boat. Go for it. Sail off into the sunset.
Seems a lot faster, the smaller boat.
Yeah, they are speedboats. That's part of their name, is they're speedboats. They don't have anywhere for you to hold resources, so it's kind of, everybody's going to show up with their resource packs and that's it. But they make fantastic guard boats and flankers for the trade ships. So they go. Yeah, unfortunately when they despawn, they lose their collision. Boats normally do actually have collision, as do characters. And so you can only fit a certain number of people on board a boat before they sort of run out of room to be. But what's also cool is that you can run people over with a boat and keel haul them and hold them underwater as you drive over them. Which, if your boat's big enough, it's cool. This is one of the eastern looking boats. Dodge. As you can see, the speedboats are a lot more maneuverable than the bigger ships as well. So this is the largest of the Eastern style boats. And it does not have a crow's nest, which is sort of one of the downsides of it, but it does have this really cool pagoda on the back that you can launch yourself off of, which is fun. And each of the different ships has different abilities on them.
How many players can be in a server? I mean, what's the max? What's the maximum?
I don't know. I'll tell you when we try it. So right now we're running on an internal server within Trion, so not a whole lot of people on this one, but the hardware isn't near what we would do for live.
I guess we've shown all of them.
We've shown all of them? You get the rowboat. You have a rowboat?
I don't have a rowboat, unfortunately.
I didn't give you the dinky. Oh yes, you do, right there.
Oh, is this
That's
the ferry? Is this the
ferry. Ferry's the rowboat. Yeah, the gate mechanic is really kind of cool for the... This is your starting boat. You start with this. You can upgrade. Yeah, I wouldn't exactly recommend. So as you can see here, as the danger level is going up, that's depicting the fact that we're going more into PvP. So you are warned when you go into PvP. You can do it at any level.
Are there rewards for killing other players in PvP? I mean, can you loot them, or do you get any type of points or anything?
Well, it depends on who it is that you kill. So if you kill someone of your own faction, you could get crime points, and that wouldn't be good. But a lot of it is, I get to kill you, so I get to take your resources. So if they have a trade pack or whatever and stuff, that kind of stuff.
Is there a weather system in place? I mean, is there hard rain or any type of snow or different types of weather patterns?
There is some weather, but it's not like a weather pattern per se. But that does point out one of the cooler things in the game is that the different regions, the different areas on the map have different climates. And for instance, different plants will grow better in different climates. And so you have to pay attention to that a little bit if you're going to be a farmer. Things get real pretty at night.
Yeah, it's very nice. I noticed how it's calmer sometimes in the water than there's other parts where the water was a lot more.
There's actually one spot that it's a river going down into a waterfall, and I accidentally missed when I was gliding around doing some of the prep, and I landed in the river. And the water current is so strong that I couldn't swim against it. I ended up going over the waterfall. It wasn't pretty.
Oh wow, the lights.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous at night.
So, can a player build one of those houses there, or are they pre-built?
So the houses are pre-structured. There's a choice of different houses, and I haven't found all of them yet. So do we know, you know where the Mirage Island portal is?
Is it where?
It's back by the housing. It's that little village by the housing. So you can see one of the houses under construction up there.
I'm guessing it takes a lot of resources to build a house?
Less than to build a boat.
Okay.
Well, okay, for most of the houses. Just thought about one that's almost as much as to build a boat.
And you mentioned something, if you don't pay taxes, your land eventually degrades? Or?
Yes, so once you've built a house, you're going to get taxed on that house. And if you don't pay taxes for long enough, you're going to lose the ability, you're going to lose the house. You get mailed the stuff back, so you're not going to lose all the stuff that you spent time and effort on. And some of the housing schematics for the rare ones will get mailed back to you. But the land itself, your house is going to poof and somebody else gets to claim it.
You also mentioned breeding mounts?
Yes, so the Yatta, all right, we're going to hop over to Mirage Island, Mirage Island is one of the places where you can buy the schematics for all the houses, and so we can run around and see the different houses. I'm trying to remember exactly where that is. You pull up a map? They're up there. So this Yatta that we've got here, there we go. This is the mount that you can breed right now, and XL just put the system in, I want to say just a few months ago, not that long ago. And they're still experimenting. A lot of this area hasn't been translated, sorry. They're still experimenting with exactly what they want to do with moving forward with it. So whatever the Korean system does, we're going to match it for this, because it's really kind of cool.
Completely different landscape than the previous.
Yeah, so this is one of the few instanced areas in the game. So Mirage Island is really all about, you can see some of the different gliders here that you can build. For instance, this is your base glider that you start out with that at a fairly early level. And then you can upgrade to the different gliders, right? And you can see all the different houses down there. You can get a little shack. You can have a shack with a white picket fence. It's cozy. Yes. So these are some of the different houses that you can get as well. This is where you go to buy the base schematics. And it is an instanced area. The guards, we haven't quite converted them to Western guards yet. They're still all speaking Korean. But yes, you can see some of the houses are pretty extensive. And XL is working to add additional housing, additional buildings, new open world boss mobs.
Is there a way you can port back to your house, or do you have to go?
Yeah, so one of the cool things about having a house is you get a port back to that house. You get a recall. Yeah, you have a recall anyway, but when you have a house, it's reset to that spot. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of fast travel in the game. There's the airships that we had shown earlier, and then there's the recall back to your house.
That's good in a way, though, you know?
But, you know, and that's kind of the fun of it, right? Because this is the nerve-wracking, oh my God, I have to run to the other side of the world, and oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. And where's my guild? Yeah, I'm currently sitting, okay, my guild better go into ArcheAge because I don't know what I'm going to do without him. But yeah, so these are a lot of these different items that you see around, and if you want to go buy some of the costumes. These are some of the costumes, for instance, that you can buy in the game. There you go. Some very pretty ones. And there's some additional items that we've requested from XL, and we're working through details on exactly which ones we're going to get. But they're going to add some additional items just for us, which will be pretty cool.
Obviously you have plans for beta, but in terms of a lot of people wanting keys, what's do you have any? Is there a timeline, or are you going to start to invite? I know because yesterday or the day before, beta signups just started.
Yes, you can go sign up for beta right now, and what we'll do is. So once we have the dates for beta and when we're going to be announcing things, we're going to make sure that everyone who attended this week gets that information, and then we're going to start sending out beta keys. My goal is to utilize as much as possible sites like MMORPG to share those keys. We'll also be sharing keys on like Twitter and Facebook and other places like that, so folks who don't go to the big sites can also get their keys. As you can see, the little mini houses here, and you click on the house to buy, so you know exactly what you're buying when you choose it.
Do you have to have a skill to be able to get blueprints, or?
No. Well, most of them, no. So most of the houses, you don't. But one of the interesting things about the way the skills work is that pretty much anybody can build almost anything. There are some items that require like a skill level. But there we go. So you can use all of these skills. The higher your skill level is, the faster you can create items, and the better that you can, the better your chance of getting a really good result. So some of the items like armor and stuff have a chance of getting a better armor than others.
You mentioned building a castle, for example,
yes.
in one of the high-level PvP areas.
Absolutely.
And can people take it over, or they can basically attack it and destroy it? Or?
No, they can take it over.
Okay.
And if they take it over, they get all the taxes from all the land as well.
That's sounds very cool.
It's a little crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah, don't stop, please.
Well, so these are the different, so for instance, these are the different pieces that you can buy for the castle, right? So when you're creating your castle, you buy the different pieces and you put them together. And so you build the castle you want.
You have to get the resources, though, like the boulders
Oh, yeah.
and the rocks and
Oh, yeah.
the stone. That's probably a lot of resources to build a castle.
You don't want to do it without a lot of friends. Because you also have to defend it, don't forget, and hold it. Oh, and tractors. You can get tractors. Unfortunately, we don't have cars in this build, but there are cars that are coming out in Korea.
And submarines.
And submarines, yes. Yeah. The guys at XL are just amazing, and they keep coming up with some of the most fun stuff, and it's just like, I can't wait to see what they're coming out with next. So it should be very cool.
Very cool. Thank you so much for your time.
You are absolutely welcome, and he is ready for your interviews now. D mic.